panic explodes in Galactic Council as humans refuse to negotiate. HFY Story. Prologue. A new threat to the old order. The Galactic Federation had long been a symbol of peace, prosperity, and progress. For millennia, it had governed thousands of species, maintaining order across the stars through diplomacy and mutual understanding. Cerulus Prime, the Federation's capital, gleamed as a testament to this harmony, its sky-spanning towers in crystalline halls, embodying an era where war was unthinkable. But complacency had become its Achilles heel. The Vorrak Hegemony arrived without warning, a force unlike anything the Federation had faced in centuries. Their fleets, massive and bristling with weaponry, tore through system after system, leaving ash and rubble in their wake. Their demands were brutal: unconditional surrender, subjugation, and servitude. Negotiation was not in their lexicon. The Federation, accustomed to resolving disputes over conference tables, scrambled to respond. Diplomatic envoys were dispatched, only to vanish without a trace. Calls for unity and mobilization fell on deaf ears, as member species squabbled over who would bear the burden of defense. Meanwhile, the Vorrak advanced, their war machines crushing every fleet that dared to oppose them. Humanity, the Federation's newest member, had been dismissed as little more than a curious addition to the galactic tapestry. Their technology was primitive compared to the elder races, and their history of war was seen as barbaric. But humanity's leaders understood something the Federation did not. Predators could not be reasoned with. They had to be fought. When the Vorrak's ultimatum reached Earth, humanity's answer shocked the galaxy. There would be no negotiation, no surrender. Humanity would fight. Chapter 1. Humanity's Answer. On the bridge of the Resolute Shield, humanity's flagship, Admiral Raine, stood before a holographic display of the Dralos system. The Vorrak fleet was advancing rapidly, their course straight for the colony world of Dralos IV. The Federation Council had advised retreat and negotiations, warning that direct confrontation would only provoke the Vorrak further. Raine disagreed. "We're not retreating," Raine said, addressing his senior officers. His voice was calm, but his steel-gray eyes carried the weight of humanity's resolve. The Vorrak don't negotiate, they conquer. If we give them an inch, they'll take everything. Lieutenant Commander Sarah Chen, his second-in-command, folded her arms. "The Council thinks we're reckless. They've called us warmongers." Raine smirked. "Let them talk. We'll be the ones saving their worlds while they're still arguing about peace treaties." Humanity's fleet had mobilized quickly, their ships designed not for elegance but efficiency. Railguns, kinetic missiles, and advanced countermeasures, considered outdated by the Federation, were standard on every vessel. Humanity had learned from centuries of war that survival often came down to adaptability and grit, traits the Federation had long abandoned. As the fleet prepared for battle, Earth's factories worked day and night, producing ammunition, armor, and replacement parts. Across the colonies, civilians trained to defend their homes, knowing the Vorrak spared no one. Humanity was all in. Chapter 2. The Battle of Dralos. The Vorrak Armada arrived in the Dralos system like a storm. Their warships, vast and jagged, moved with terrifying precision, plasma cannons charged with blinding light, while fighter drones buzzed like angry wasps around the main fleet. On Dralos IV, Federation observers watched helplessly as the Vorrak began bombarding orbital defenses. The planet's fall seemed inevitable. Then humanity's fleet arrived. 30 ships, led by the Resolute Shield, emerged from hyperspace with surgical precision. Their arrival was a glimmer of hope for those on the surface, though many doubted such a small force could make a difference. "Enemy fleet has locked on to us," reported Lieutenant Adams. "Let them," Raine said. "We'll show them how humans fight." The Resolute shield opened fire first. Its railguns thundered, launching hypersonic slugs that tore through a Vorrak destroyer's shields and punctured its hull. The ship erupted in a ball of fire, scattering debris across the enemy formation. Human ships surged forward, their smaller frames darting through the Vorrak's lumbering giants. Missiles streaked through space, guided by advanced targeting systems. Explosions rippled through the Vorrak ranks as human fighters engaged the enemy's drones in a deadly dance of precision and instinct. The Vorrak, unaccustomed to such tactics, faltered. On the ground, the battle was just as fierce. Vorrak shock troops, monstrous creatures encased in adaptive armor, stormed the streets of Dralos IV's capital. Major Marcus Kane led a platoon of Marines in a desperate effort to hold the city. "Set up a kill zone here," Kane barked, pointing to a narrow alleyway. His Marines worked quickly, laying mines and positioning heavy weapons. When the Vorrak charged, the trap was sprung. EMP grenades disabled their shields, and concentrated fire brought the towering warriors crashing down. Kane himself engaged a Vorrak commander in brutal hand-to-hand combat. The alien was twice his size, its armored claws slashing with deadly precision. Kane dodged, countering with a knife strike that found a weak point in the creature's armor. The Vorrak collapsed, and Kane wiped the blood from his face. Chapter 3. Federation Outrage. Back on Cerulus Prime, the Galactic Council convened an emergency session. Holographic projections of counselors filled the grand chamber, their voices raised in anger and panic. "Humanity has defied our orders," bellowed Councillor Valen of the Ara-Ren. "Their reckless actions jeopardize our negotiations." Councillor Trevix of the Sultari countered, his elongated features twitching with frustration. "Negotiations? The Vorrak don't want peace. Humanity's actions saved Dralos IV. Perhaps we should follow their example." The chamber erupted into chaos. Some councillors applauded humanity's defiance, seeing it as a necessary response to the Vorrak threat. Others feared that humanity's aggression would provoke retaliation, dragging the entire Federation into war. President Alina Trask appeared in the chamber via hologram. Her expression was calm, but her words were resolute. "The Vorrak understand only strength," she said. "Humanity won't negotiate with predators. If the Federation doesn't have the will to fight, humanity will stand alone." Chapter 4. Striking Back. Emboldened by their victory at Dralos, humanity launched a series of counteroffensives. Admiral Raine divided his fleet into strike groups, each tasked with targeting Vorrak supply lines and infrastructure. The goal was simple: starve the Vorrak war machine and force them to overextend. In the Rylos Nebula, Captain Serena Holt led her strike group against a Vorrak logistics hub. The nebula's dense fog rendered sensors useless, forcing pilots to rely on instinct and skill. Human ships navigated the treacherous environment with precision, ambushing Vorrak convoys and vanishing into the mist. Major Kane's Marines continued their relentless assaults on Vorrak outposts. In one daring mission, Kane's team infiltrated a heavily fortified weapons facility. Using stealth and explosives, they disabled the facility's defenses before launching a surprise attack. The ensuing chaos left the Vorrak unable to mount a coordinated response. Chapter 5. The Siege of Sol. The Vorrak, enraged by humanity's defiance, assembled their largest fleet yet for an all-out assault on the Sol system. Over 100 warships descended upon humanity's home, their plasma cannons glowing like malevolent stars. For a moment, I thought they were intent on approaching the Vorrak. Instead, they came upon our ships. Raine stood on the bridge of the Resolute shield, his jaw set. "This is it," he said. "We hold the line, or Earth falls." Humanity's defenders had prepared for this moment. Orbital platforms powered up their railguns, and planetary missile batteries locked onto incoming targets. Civilians on Earth worked tirelessly to support the war effort, building weapons and fortifying shelters. The battle was apocalyptic. Plasma bolts and railgun slugs filled the void, each impact shaking the very fabric of space. Human pilots executed daring maneuvers, weaving through enemy fire to strike at critical targets. On the ground, Major Kane led the resistance against Vorrak landing parties. The streets of Earth became a battleground, every building a fortress, every alley a potential ambush site. Kane's Marines fought with unmatched determination, repelling wave after wave of Vorrak warriors. Admiral Raine unleashed humanity's trump card, a fleet of stealth bombers armed with experimental warheads. The bombers penetrated the Vorrak's defenses, targeting their flagship. The explosion was blinding, its shockwave rippling through the Vorrak formation. Leaderless and disoriented, the Vorrak retreated. Chapter 6: Humanity's Rise. The Vorrak's defeat at Sol marked a turning point in the war. Humanity's defiance had inspired other species to resist, and the Vorrak were soon forced to retreat beyond Federation space. Earth, once dismissed as insignificant, emerged as a beacon of strength and resilience. On Cerulus Prime, the Galactic Council convened to determine humanity's place in the galaxy. Some feared humanity's growing power, while others saw them as the Federation's best hope for survival. President Trask addressed the Council one final time. "Humanity didn't ask for this war," she said, "but we'll finish it. The Federation must evolve, or it will fall. Humanity is ready to lead. Are you ready to follow?" Epilogue: Predators among the stars. Earth's triumph reshaped the galaxy. Monuments to humanity's resilience stood on liberated worlds, and their tactics were studied in academies across the stars. Admiral Raine, now a legend, stood on the bridge of the Resolute Shield, gazing at the stars. "This isn't the end," he said. "It's the beginning, for humanity and for the galaxy."